Good evening, everybody. We are not another FPL podcast. We're here recording on Wednesday. I'm now back with my co-host, Mr. Dominic Rekowski. Thank God. How you doing, Dommy boy?
Yeah, good to be back. I have to admit, John done a very good stand-in. The 62-year-old guesser is always a delight to hear. Um, Questionable about his Leeds backing. I know he's got a mate up there. He says a season ticket holder or whatnot, watches all the games. But yeah, it's good to be back. Thanks for standing in, John.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I don't think he can remember any of it, but he might have rewatched it and thought, yeah, you had a good time. But moving on then, mate. How would you get on in game week 33? Let's have a look.
Good little game week for me, 67 points. What went
Very
well?
nice.
I transferred in Richarlison. He was fortunate enough to get the assist to the own goal. Ian Nacho's in the team again, isn't he? Rudiger with a nice 8 points. Digne, which is probably it's nice to get a return off him.
Yeah, nice.
His price.
Nice. Back-to-back clean sheets for him, isn't it now, I think?
Yeah, something like that. And Salah scored so early on, didn't he? I even meant to be thinking this is a hat trick, but it wasn't. It was just to be the one goal. But luckily enough, um, the creators of FPL must have had Salah in their team captain because he got the two bonus points as well.
Crazy, yeah. It was really late on, wasn't it, when they changed that?
Yeah.
Jota, 1 point. I think that is one of the worst 1 points I've ever witnessed in my life. Considering I've been an owner of McCarthy about 10 game weeks ago, he conceded 9 against United and ends up with a 0. Jota, I think, probably had about 5 shots on target within the first half, gets pulled off before the hour mark, and is a one dropper. But
Yeah.
madness how it can swing, I think, with the points. But
Absolutely.
there we
And
go.
added to that Liverpool game, obviously, we had a lot of entertainment within the last 5 minutes of the game where
Shocking how that goal was called off.
Wilson, oh, it's a goal. Wilson's goal
Honestly,
should have stood. My argument for the Wilson goal would be if we're viewing penalties, as in if it hits the defender's arm and it's in a natural position, it's not a penalty. Then when it's on the flip side of that, in favour of the attacker, in the case of Wilson, he can't move his arm. It's from literally point blank. It's got to
I
be a
think the
goal.
ruling is to do with it. Yeah, if it leads to a goal, though, isn't it? If it's
I
off the hand.
understand that, but it has to be to do with intent. It just does. And he was robbed of that goal. And I actually, felt sorry for him. So it was nice to see Willock score, wasn't it? And although I did lose the clean sheet for Trent, Newcastle deserved it, and it makes the top 4 even better for a Chelsea fan. So yeah, 67 points, happy with that. How do you get on?
To be honest with you, I'm actually not too sure how many points I got. It wasn't great, mate. I'm still not happy with my move. 51 with the one transfer, which I am regretting big time. I did the jump from Kane to Vardy. Made a plan literally just to play Dallas and captain Salah. Would have been 13 points better off, but the Friday night beers had a bit of a say. And Jamie Vardy, Monday night, Palace at home, just completely took over and put the armband on him. And yeah, I thought he was unlucky, mate, to be honest with you, with a 2 drop. I must admit, I thought the first chance when he was almost one-on-one with Gutierrez, where he could have just chipped it or maybe just clipped it left to the keeper, tried going past him. I think there was a few chances he missed throughout the game. The goal as well, that was obviously not given. So I think that 2 points could easily have been a double digit, but all in hindsight. The move, it did cost me 13 points net. But yeah, again, probably Salah, Iheanacho doing well, Rudiger and Shaw, and that's about it. But no way. It's weird, isn't it? There's no way I was going to captain Iheanacho when I had Vardy in my team. Yet the guy who's on mega form is obviously the guy who's 4 million cheaper. But for me,
I think
the price dictates.
Did he the game week before? And it's just one of them.
Yeah.
You know, if Vardy gets that goal, he could have easily gone on the run. I think you're very right in what you're saying. He could have had a handful of goals and assists and FPL points. So very unlucky. Could see your rationale behind putting Vardy in for Kane. In hindsight, with Kane starting in the cup match and looking like he's fit enough to play against Sheffield United, it's probably a right headache for you right now on what do you now do, because obviously Spurs have Sheffield United, and you're Spursless. So
Yeah.
you're probably more annoyed at that than you are with Captain and Vardy. But swings and roundabouts, I'm sure
Yeah.
Sheffield United have
Yeah.
beat Spurs.
Well, yeah, you've quietly said to me that you need convincing on the Spurs assets now. Um, I think we want to probably leave that screen up, but also talk about that. So you're a Sun owner, sorry, and you're not going Kane. You're not going any defenders with the good games coming up. What's your thoughts on Spurs? You're not a fan of Mason, and you don't.
Let's just have a look at them. It's not that I'm not a fan of Mason. And again, when you had John on last game week and he was hyping up Spurs as well. Under Mourinho, I would say I back Spurs to really push for top four for a finish. I look at
Yeah,
it now and I would just say if they weren't playing Sheffield United next game week, say that was a West Ham, an Everton, and then they
yeah,
go Leeds, Wolves, Villa, Leicester, I don't think we would be attracted to them. I think everyone's attracted to them right now is because they're playing Sheffield United. Now, they didn't play well against Man City in the cup final. And I know they're up against one of the greatest managers and possibly teams the Prem has ever seen. So I understand that. But for me, Ryan Mason, he isn't going in there like a Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea with
no,
a
of
with a
course not.
book with a Bible about football and basically getting the players to play how he wants to. He's going in there to basically name the squad,
Yeah, he's
um,
filling the
and
filling the hole, mate, for
it's
the
a
rest of the
case of
season.
what do the players do on the pitch.
Yeah,
And I feel, having said that, I just got huge question marks over Spurs. I think they could finish eighth in the league rather
yeah,
than finish sixth or fifth,
yeah,
and therefore it's hard to buy into them. I just think we're sort of flirting with them because they've got Sheffield United next.
yeah. See, my sort of thinking is I've got two Leicester strikers, but I've not got no, you know, Spurs strikers fixture wise. And I can even hop off, you know, Vardy, or I could hop off a midfielder and I can get to Son or Kane just to like have one of them, and maybe captain one of them or maybe captain Vardy. Do you know what I'm saying? So it just feels like for me, for the balance of the whole team, why would I have two Leicester? All right, one is an absolute bargain at the minute and probably the best player on the game at the minute, value wise. But to me, I just see myself, I can do one transfer and I could get to either of them just to balance it out and take the Vardy move on the chin or take out another player in midfield who's underperforming to get to Son. So
If
that's my sort of
Leicester are
thinking.
going to finish top four, James, they are going to secure it in the next two fixtures. They have to. Then they go Man United. That's no easy game. Chelsea could be a pivotal game to see who finishes out, third and fourth,
Yeah, they've got tough
and then
games,
they play
Leicester.
Spurs. If I was a Vardy owner, I would not be getting rid of him for Southampton away or a dog, and then Newcastle at home. I think that is madness.
The question I've got, well, the predicament I've got is also the fact that the game week 35, fits 36, I think, Krellin's been talking about, could be moved to game week 35 because of the FA Cup final. Now, if that does mean, Vardy does then have a double, all right, so be it. It's Man United away. He loves playing against the big teams, doesn't he? Actually, Leicester's away form is actually a lot better than their home form. Um, you know, 3 games in 2 game weeks could pay off, Um, But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to have a little think, see how Bruno gets on tomorrow night. Obviously, because he could play, he could easily get injured. And we've obviously got the Man City boys tonight. So, but no, I think it's very interesting this time of the year. I do think you need to be picking players that are fighting for something. And obviously, yeah, I think Leicester are actually a lot more safe than what people think. I know they've got 3 tough games, but I don't see them, losing 3 on the trot to Chelsea, Man City, Man United, and Spurs. Like Chelsea's probably definitely their hardest game. But what are you looking at now? The league.
Just looking at the league there. So if we
So
stop moving,
do you know what I mean? They're 7 points clear of West Ham in 5th. If they win both them games against Southampton and Newcastle, you'd say what? Let's say they win both theirs, West Ham. Then that's 7 with 3 to play. So
hence why I say I think it's
that's
madness jumping off of Vardy right now when you've got Southampton and Newcastle next. When those 2 games before you get your 3 tricky games could cement their Champions League spot. And also, I'll reiterate, I'm not saying Sheffield United are going to go out and beat Tottenham. I think that's also could be nonsense. However, I don't know what Spurs are going to do. Where are they going?
yeah.
Where are Spurs finding their motivation? They're down there in 7th. They've got 53 points. They ain't going to get the Champions League. Now, would they rather go into next season without Europa League and the new manager can just focus on their league position? We've seen it before with other top teams. I
Yeah.
don't know, but and then they got Leeds. Leeds have barely conceded a goal against Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Man City in how many game weeks? If anything, I think Leeds will probably beat Spurs.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So,
put you off that.
so for me, if I
It's just that
if I
Sheffield
could have
United
the
game.
answer, I
You
would leave
just,
it.
but you've got Son. You're happy. You've probably sat there. You're probably going to captain him. You're all easy. But you're talking to a bloke with absolute no cover. You're talking people in all the mini leagues. All the leagues are going to be captaining a Spurs player. So, or at least have one. So I don't see
I'd rather
my
transfer in
priority.
Sigurdsson and captain Sigurdsson.
No. Why Sigurdsson? He scored 2 goals against Spurs, and that's it.
He's on pens for Everton. I think Everton looking there. All right, they're a point behind Spurs, but they've got a game in hand.
Yeah,
They've
but
got
if they
a
win,
much better run in for
yeah.
the final 5, 6 games. And I
What's their running?
fully expect Everton to finish above Spurs come the end of the league. So
Well, yeah, if they win that game in hand, they go obviously well, they go 6th, obviously on goal difference with West Ham. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not getting too carried away. Okay, Siggy obviously has good games, but and they're also another team that could potentially have a double game week, I believe, because
he will, yeah.
oh no, they got a blank. They need to play Villa again. They haven't played Villa yet. They got 2 games.
They will play. They will play an extra game.
Villa and
So they
they
are
will
going
play
to have a
Villa in
double.
that double. So, and Villa, like, I don't think we've said on the pod yet, but they've got the worst, I think, defensive clean sheet record in the last 5. And, they're not obviously what they were a few months ago. So, no, I think, yeah, picking the teams who are fine for something. Relegation wise, have you got any key players you'd like to pick out? Any players for West Brom and Fulham? Pereira, maybe? I think he's going to go to a big club next year. Bloke
I
is
think
so
it's done.
exciting.
I think the bottom 3 are relegated.
So you wouldn't worry about touching any of them?
I think that the fight for 4th, 5th, and 6th is too spicy with the teams there to even warrant looking at the relegation. Can I
What
get?
do you get if you come 6th, though? Don't you get, well, 6th is nothing, isn't it?
Oh, just a bit of extra money in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but the likes of Liverpool aren't going to care about that, are they?
They're not, but you look at it now. West Ham, that 4th and 5th isn't guaranteed for anyone.
Yeah, no, 4th and 5th. I think I can't see Chelsea or Leicester coming out of them places. Sorry, I just don't. I think they're just better than the rest below them. I know, obviously, Everton got a game in hand, but I just think Leicester 2 plum games. Southampton are looking poor. Newcastle now, probably after that point, I mean, they're probably safe 9 points off safety, but you never know. Yeah, I do think Leicester probably might not finish, they might not finish third, but I think they're fine, top 4. And Chelsea look like one of the best teams in Europe now. I mean, it's just a joke. So are they going to get too carried away with the Champions League? I can't see it happening because of the depth they've got. They do have quite tricky games though, don't they, Chelsea, I think.
Yeah, they've
But
got me, so they do
no one,
those top teams there.
they're probably the one team you don't want to play actually in the league at the minute is Chelsea, because you just can't see yourself beating them. I know they had that freak result against West Brom, but happens when you're down to 10. But yeah, no, I think you're sat there obviously with Son, but if you wasn't, like I said, owning the Spurs player, I'd say you need one massively.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. What I was getting at when we said it and looking at your team is I don't think I'd be trying to desperately get Kane straight back in for someone like Vardy. Basically, I think I'd rather have Vardy up top, and I'd probably look at could I shift on Bruno Fernandes to get Son in and have that
No, I don't know.
and have Son in Vardy. I think I'd prefer
Yeah.
that than go in for Kane and Bruno. What are United playing for? What's Bruno saying when Pogba plays? What's he even saying at the moment? He don't, unless he gets a penalty anytime soon. I don't see when the bloke scores his next goal.
Yeah. Well, you've showed me that stat. He's averaging 3.9 points a game with Pogba, and something like 9.5 without him, which is absolutely ridiculous comparing the two, 6 points in it. So, I mean, it's a goal a game, which is mad when you think about it.
Absolutely ridiculous. And like I say, if you add on
more than that,
I mean, you said to me before we started recording, Bruno doesn't miss a minute, but they've got Roma tomorrow night. They've got second place wrapped up in the league. Now, will Ollie use that as an opportunity in the league to have a little experiment for next season? United love a youngster. We already know one or two off the top of our head in midfield that might feature late on in the season. He didn't play Pogba last game. He could easily watch Bruno go up tomorrow night and say, "Do you know what? I'm going to rest him this game week." I know it would be against.
He's not going to rest him against Liverpool, is he?
No, but he might definitely against. Is it Villa next or whatnot for them? So, what I'm getting at in between those.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Games, if I was looking at your squad, I'd be more tempted to take Bruno out for Son than I would be looking to move Vardy on.
Yeah, well, especially because I look at Bruno, I'm not going to captain him probably for the rest of the season. I mean, yeah, he is a lot of money at the minute for 11 million. If I get Son, then that can then make me get down to the likes of, a big Liverpool defender. And yeah, you just got to think what's going to balance what's going to be worth the value in the end of the day. A Son and then a Trent, for example, or a Bruno and whoever I've got there at the minute. I think it might be Konza because I've got a bit in the bank. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. Moving around the big hitters, I think, is always a funny talking point. We've spoke about it before around Christmas time, and everyone was hitting it off, weren't they? You had the 2 Spurs boys. I think you were swapping and changing between like KDB, Vardy, Salah. All of them were popping up, and yeah, it's just hard when you start to move them around. You got to pick the right ones for that, because if you don't have the right one, and then if the Kane does explode or even gets a brace against Sheffield United, 26 points if your rival captains him. So it's big.
I would agree. And this is, like I say, I think it actually depends where you want to finish in our mini league.
I just want to finish up as high up as possible, really, for pride. So, but you're looking at the mini league.
Done. I mean, if you want to finish up high as possible, then you don't do what everyone else is doing. You've got to take
that's true.
Sort of risk. And you're running out of game weeks to do that. And something like keeping Vardy for the next couple, possibly even captaining Vardy.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping Vardy. I mean, yeah, he's, for me, Southampton and Newcastle, fine for the next 2 games. My question is with you, obviously, for the viewers, it's 420 for top money. Second place gets 200. Third place gets 100. Fourth is 0. So you've got between the top 4 players, you've got 15 points. Now, Domi's obviously right in the mix of that. Sat there in 4th, 3 points behind Callow. So, you know, mate, you've got a big 5 game weeks ahead of you. What's your sort of mindset with this? Are you having a little 5 game week season? Having a few differentials and are you going for a third and taking your £100 and
I
taking your
think
manager of the month,
I'd
or
like
do
to get seconds. I know
you want
seconds
second?
probably
Of
still
course, yeah.
got
It's only 7 points ahead of you, isn't it? So
at 7 points. I think the Icelandic correspondent, as I've been being
yeah,
referred to many
that's what
times
he's
now.
known as these days.
I think he's got maybe a chip or 2 in the bank.
Free hit and bench boost, I think. But I also think Topper's wild card,
Yeah,
which is
I'm
unbelievable.
not too worried about that. I think actually that can be a bit of a headache this close with 5-6 game weeks to go for some teams.
But if you're top by that many, you can just block everyone out, can't you?
Yeah, and I think I'm taking calculated risks at the moment. I'm trying to weigh up who do I actually think is going to finish 5th and give the greatest challenge to 4th place. And like I said, we spoke last week and we talked about Everton. They haven't had the greatest home form recently, but you said to me, Dom, they're going to beat Arsenal, and I thought, DCL's not probably going to do what he done at the start of the season. Richarlison always tends to finish seasons well, so I went with Richarlison. I've still got Digne. I don't know if any of these managers in front of me, I don't think their teams have any Everton players. So I like having those differentials.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Most of them have got Kane and I've got Son. I don't know how fit
yeah.
a Harry Kane is at the moment. I don't know how much
surely fit enough
to be at Tottenham at the moment.
He's got to be fit enough to score past Sheffield United. That's my thinking. But yeah, again,
he wasn't fit enough to have a touch or a shot in the box versus City in a cup final. So I don't know how fit that Harry Kane is, and I don't know how fit Tottenham are as a team.
Yeah,
I could, like I say, I could talk about Tottenham all day long because I think they're shit. I think they're just gonna. I think they might even struggle against Sheffield United. I think they're gonna get beat to Leeds. They're shit. Did I say that already?
I think you did. I think you might have said they might win the league in December also, but how times change.
They're probably got to run now. Finish probably. I don't know. Moving on. No, I just want to. I don't want to. Like you called James. If I finish 4th, I win nothing. So if I finish 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, I win nothing. So I've got to do moves to try finish 2nd, basically, haven't I? I think 3rd is wrapped up. I don't think Dapper will be beaten now. And maybe a manager of the month in May, because I don't think I'm going to get it this month. So I like Everton, and I might go West Ham, might triple up on West Ham. Don't know yet.
Cool.
That means I'll have double games. Everton, triple West Ham, and triple Liverpool. So that is really backing the teams to finish.
That's your eggs in one basket, isn't it? Yeah, fair enough. Right then, mate. So transfer-wise, anything you want to disclose? I fully understand if you want to keep it confidential because we do know the rivals listen occasionally.
This is my team at the moment. My thing is, I don't know if Rudiger will play. Chelsea played the same team against Real Madrid as they did against West Ham. So to say he plays against Fulham and then plays the return leg of Real Madrid, I'm not sure. But I'm not too fussed about that because I don't think I'll lose anything with Trent coming into play. So I'll start Trent on the bench. God's honest truth, I'm looking at shifting Tyler Roberts on. I do think we could finish the season all right because Leeds have got some nice fixtures. Let me just quickly double check that. They've got Burnley, Southampton, West Brom. I think Tyler Roberts will get transferred out of my team this week. And if he does get transferred out this week, I might drop Bamford to the bench to start whoever I transfer in for Tyler Roberts. Maybe
I'd love
an Everton maybe an Everton midfielder, maybe a Spurs midfielder if I can afford it. Maybe a West Ham midfielder. What about you?
Yeah. interesting talking about Leeds. I've got Rafinha still, and I tell you what, I'd love him to get fit again. If Bielsa comes out and says he's fit, I mean, oh, what a godsend that would be, because he is, well, he's just brilliant. I mean, in them games, I didn't realise Leeds games were that good. I mean,
Mm.
thinking about shipping Bamford off, but when you come to look at them, and you know how unpredictable Leeds are, I mean, what's his injury he's got? It's one of them ones where it's just you never know. So he's likely not to play for the rest of the season. Yeah, again, I've been stung by Phillips. I brought him in, got injured. Um, for me, he starts centre back with Kabak when fit, and he's 4.1. So he is actually now holding up my third
Oh,
Liverpool.
blimey. Fabinho's back now, so get rid of him.
Right, but I think Fabinho isn't a centre back, so
He plays centre
that's why I
back.
think Phillips plays. Yeah, so I've obviously got that sort of headache. One transfer, need a Spurs player. Um, but yeah, going to wait a couple of days, wait for the press conferences. But if we got some nice news with obviously Rafinha and Phillips, I don't think Phillips will be fit for the little Man United game, but if he's fit, then for the Newcastle, not Newcastle game, they got someone else who's pretty easy. After that, then we're looking all right. But yeah, it's just wait and see for me, mate. And yeah,
Yeah, I
Friday
would
night
agree. I
deadline,
think
obviously.
that's wise, isn't it? Sort of wait and see what
Wait
happens
and
this
see.
week. I
Wait
mean,
and see. But
I may not even make a transfer and just save it.
yeah,
It's one of those game weeks where it's whether I go a bit ballsy or do I just save it and bank it. So having said that, then do you know your captain then? Because like you say, at the moment you don't have a Spurs asset, and I'd imagine Kane and Son will be furlongs ahead in the captain poll. Um, what's your
yeah. No, to be honest with you, I mean, I have no idea. It could potentially be Vardy again. I mean, he scored. They won 9-0, didn't they, last time? Um, and yeah, he scored a hatful, did he? He scored three, I think. I don't think he scored any up in the first half, and then he went and banged like a hat trick in the second half. It was, I know it's all hypothetical. It was all last, doesn't matter, doesn't affect this result, but must give a striker like him some confidence when he's there. And that's what I think this bloke sort of needs. And um, yeah, so yeah, I could easily captain Vardy. I could easily captain Kane if I brought him in. I could easily captain Son. So there'd be the three. One of them three I think I'd go for. And I don't think there's anyone else I could think of. I'm not going to captain anybody in that big game on Sunday. So what about you?
you might have a lot of interest come Friday night, and I tell you what, yeah, Vardy, he could, like I say, he could have had a hatful of points against Palace. So
Yeah,
I think
it was Friday night game as well last year, which is quite weird.
I
So
think
there we
he'll
go.
do well against Southampton. I mean,
Ian,
yeah,
Ian Nacho
I'm
again.
currently probably thinking Son, but is that just because most people will go Kane, and I'd
Yeah.
quite like to,
If I was
go
you, I'd definitely go Son. Definitely go Son because there's a couple of people in that top five that haven't got Son. And then you're looking at every goal Son scores, you're getting 10 points on him, which
yeah.
there's 7 points between you and second. So obviously vice versa with Kane,
And also
with
I've
the
got a
eight
couple of
drop. So
differentials that people don't have, like I say, Richarlison and Digne, which have got a nice fixture against Villa.
mm,
So
that is a
I
nice
don't
fixture. That's a really nice
really
fixture.
need to take too much risk with the captaincy when you've got
Yeah.
a few of the differentials filling in around the edges.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I agree.
and
Yeah.
I
Just
think
play
West
safe
Brom
with
will
the,
probably score against Wolves. So anyone who's got a Wolves defender at the moment, that looked good a
there's a
couple of weeks
few.
ago, but unfortunately that's gone a bit sour.
It's big
Um,
derby, that. Big derby.
But yeah, and I haven't mentioned Everton actually. I think they're probably going to be my flutter of the week because I've just seen that even money at home against Villa. I'm all over that. Like I say, I think Everton
Nice.
is the team that could finish fifth still. So I don't think they can afford to drop points. Villa aren't the same again with no Grealish. I've said it many, many times before. Nothing's going to change my mind on that. No dodgy assists for Watkins or anything like that's going to change my mind on their ability without Grealish.
Yeah. No, I don't, can't put you off that at all. My flutter of the week is what the old man tried to do last week, but I think they've got a bit of an easier game this week. It's Leeds away at Brighton. I know they lost at home to them 1-0, but after that Brighton performance against Sheffield United, I can't see them beating Leeds. And I think Leeds, with a bit of luck, if they get Rafinha back, will go all guns blazing.
All I would say to that is I think the odds there are really attractive. Leeds have looked really good against some top teams recently. Brighton did put a good show up against Chelsea, though. And I'm actually going to say I think Brighton are going to win 1-0 again.
All right, fair enough.
It will repeat itself.
You won't be having money on the Flutter, which is 6.4 to 1 on Betfair. Sorry, not Betfair. Wrong sponsor, sorry. Bet365. So if you whack your tenner on that, 64 back. And yeah, let's hope it wins, mate. So I think that's it for me, mate. Obviously, yeah, early deadline again. Friday night, I don't really like it. I feel a bit rushed on the old Friday night, 8 o'clock. There's always a few beers in me. So anyway, mate, best of luck for game week 34. And yeah, it's a good night from me.
Good luck, guys. Good night.